everybody. So I hope you're all doing well. I think most of you know that I have a movie blog and my main focus is Disney and I love animation. And so a couple of months ago, I put out to my readers of what they would like my next project to be. And the two overwhelming favorites of the poll was Pixar, to review the Pixar movies and to review the Disneynature films. And that really surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. And I was thrilled because I had never seen any of the Disneynature films before. So that was fun to be able to review a whole set of movies that I had never seen any of them. And I watched over the course of about a month and a half, 2 months, I watched all of the Disneynature films and I really enjoyed them. They're amazing. I mean, what the people go through to make these films is mind-blowing. But let's rank the Disneynature films, and so that way you can know which ones to go and find and see with your family. So there are 8 Disneynature films, and so my number 8 is called The Wings of Life. It's narrated by Meryl Streep, and it is about bugs, and particularly bees and butterflies. And it's good, but it's the one that I thought was the most sort of slow. And I was hoping that they would go in a little bit more, because a lot of them do have a lot of instruction thrown in there, but they don't tend to have like experts piping in. But I kind of wish they had for this one, because just to me, the bees and the butterflies just weren't that interesting, and they weren't that cute. A lot of the other ones, the animals are really cute, so I enjoy them a little bit more. Than number 7, I have Earth. And this is an amazing nature documentary. It's one of the very first ones they did, and like I said, it just feels a little fractured, a little bit like a television show, because I think it was actually the same filming that they used for Planet Earth television series. And I guess I just prefer the ones where it is sort of more of a narrative than the ones where it's more of just let's just more of a traditional nature documentary. They're also in Earth pretty heavy-handed on the messaging. Okay, then next I have Oceans, and it's kind of the same thing. I mean, I love the ocean. I love everything about the ocean. I loved watching this movie. It's beautiful, but I kind of wish it was like whales, and we just spent the time following a family of whales and sharks and dolphins and, everything else. But it's gorgeous and beautiful and interesting, so it's definitely worth watching. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's also a little bit kind of like Earth in the sense that it's a little heavy-handed in the messaging department and a little preachy. Next up, I have African Cats. African Cats is a documentary that follows a cheetah and her cubs and a lion and her pack, her tribe. And it's sort of an interesting, what they're trying to do in that one is show kids like the difference between being like a solo person and the strengths and those strengths, and also then the strengths of being part of a group like the lion is, and they each kind of have their own strengths. And it's amazing. I don't know how they didn't die making this movie. Like, it's super intense, and the only reason it's where it is the narration is a little corny, and Samuel L. Jackson is the narrator, and also it's pretty gruesome. Like, I don't know. It just depends on the kid. I think some kids might be a little upset. Most of the movie is lions and cheetahs killing other animals and eating them, pretty like with blood, coming out of their mouths. And I don't know. I asked some of my friends, and they said that their kids were fine with that. They liked that. So I guess it just depends on the kid. But some kids I think might be a little upset by it. but it's certainly definitely very good and definitely worth seeing. Next up, I have the recent Monkey Kingdom. And this is charming. I talked about it in my movies I saw in April, I believe. And it's got Tina Fey as the narrator, and it's about a mother monkey named Maya who is trying to raise her son, and there's this very strict like hierarchy between the different monkeys, and I think that's really interesting for kids, is to learn about like these social classes and how we divide each other, and so I liked that. And the only thing I didn't like in Monkey Kingdom is there were definitely staged moments, and I know there are in all of these nature documentaries, but it was definitely the most obvious of any of the Disneynature films. Especially there's a scene with a birthday party where it's like all the humans have just left the cake out sitting, they've left the whole birthday party, and then the monkeys come in and there's all kinds of shenanigans, and that part seemed a little too staged for me. Next, I have Bears. And Bears is great, and they are so cute, and I don't know how, again, I don't know how they didn't die making this movie, because these bears are like starving. You see, like they're completely emaciated at one point and like eating practically anything. They're eating grass, or eating, and the narrator's like, they're talking about how they're getting desperate. Like, how did they not eat the people? Like, how did that work? I don't know. But it's basically about this mama bear and her two cubs and trying to get enough food so that they can survive the hibernation, which was really interesting. And unless you are traumatized by salmon getting eaten, it's certainly not a great movie for the salmon. But other than that, it's pretty tame. It's very kid-friendly. My next favorite is Chimpanzee, and this was such a strong movie. It's really pretty amazing, because you can tell, unlike Monkey Kingdom where they had to stage events, this, you can tell that it completely caught them off guard. And this is the only one where you see interviews from the actual team and from experts, which sometimes I wish they used a little bit more. But you see Jane Goodall interviewed, you see some other people, and because what happened was completely unexpected. When the mother chimpanzee they were following dies in the night, and they don't know why she died. They're guessing it was a nighttime cheetah or leopard, I think they say, attack. And so this baby chimpanzee is left alone, and they like call up Disney, and they're like, you know what, we're not gonna be able to finish this one because the monkey's gonna, the chimpanzee is gonna die. And because that's just the way that chimpanzees work. And so they decided to keep filming for a couple of days, and out of the blue, a male chimpanzee picks up this baby chimpanzee and like starts taking care of it. And like Jane Goodall's on there, and she says that is so rare, very unexpected, very not the kind of thing that a male chimpanzee typically does. And so they're really stunned by this, and so then they just follow, and you get to see kind of the end of the story for this little one and his adopted dad, which is really cool. And on these kind of movies to have something so unexpected, it's neat. Nature can surprise you. So that is my second favorite. My favorite of all of the Disneynature films is actually one they never released at theaters, which is really shocking to me because I loved it. It's called The Crimson Wing. And it's not a very good name. It sounds sort of like a tampon commercial, but I loved it. It's about these flamingos in Tanzania, and it was just so different and interesting, and I'd never seen a place like this. It was beautiful. I thought the whole environment of this lake, which is like this pink salt lake kind of, was really interesting, and it like dries up at certain times and then creates these, and the algae in it is what makes the flamingos pink. and it creates this like bed for them to lay their nests, and then these cute little these cute little baby flamingos are so adorable. And the whole, instead of doing like a narrative in that one, they have it set up as this mystery of like the mystery of the lake and the mystery of these flamingos, and there's sort of it's painted in colors of the flamingos are sort of the heroes, and the hyenas and the macaws that are out to prey on the flamingos are, of course, the villain and the wicked witch of the lake, which I really liked. I thought that was really fun, and I just found myself very invested. And there's a point where these poor little flamingo babies, chicks, have when they walk on the salt, they get these salt shackles, they call them, these things of salt around their legs, and it makes them really heavy. And so they're trying to like keep up with everything, and you see them and you're like, oh my gosh, please help them. And it's just really, I got really emotional about it. I was really invested, and it was the only one aside from Chimpanzee that really did that for me, that really got me like emotionally invested in the story. And so I loved it. I thought it was just so different, so unique, something I had never even knew existed. And so to learn all about that, and it was just so beautiful, and also the way that they told the story, I thought was very engaging. So that is my ranking of the Disneynature films. Next year we get Panda, which I'm very excited about, and it should be really, really interesting. And so have you guys seen any of these? And I posted my review of WALL-E yesterday, so check out the blog. I'll put a link down, and you can also find reviews of all of these Disneynature films on my blog. So I hope you're doing great, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye!